What's up, guys? Sub-Zeric here, back for another VOD review. Today, we are doing another Prestivent VOD review because he's still, I believe, ranked 3 North America. I haven't looked at it, but he's 300 LP. There's not too many people who are 350 LP, so he's been popping off on the ladder, and he's been streaming a lot as well, as you could see there. That was like, I think each row is 12 games, right? So yeah, he's 17 games into his stream. I was watching, and he was at like the 12-hour mark, and somebody was like, "Man, you're streaming long." He's like, "Nah, man, 12 hours is the starting point. I got to go like another 5 or 6 from here," which I don't understand how people do that. I stream for 4 hours and I'm beat by the end of it. And, you know, we did that VOD review yesterday of Prestivent playing a very, very flex, cool game of TFT, you know, using the Kassadin to go fast 9 type stuff. But that's not the only way to play TFT right now, and you do need to be able to recognize really good reroll lines when you can see them and know how to pilot them well. And that's what I want to talk about today. You can already see we have a fantastic line for the Kog'Maw with Kog'Maw plus two Nunus here, and we have Blitzcrank pair as well. So I think this makes a lot of sense. First augment here, Higher Education and Molten Caramel, very, very bad. Molten Caramel is above a 5 actually, even though it would technically work in this comp because you do often play Rumble in this comp, but we probably don't want to pick that up. We get Thorn-Plated Armor here, so we have a Gargoyle Slam. You could consider this as just kind of like Slam Gargoyle and then get Thorn-Plated Armor, and we have this full item here, which could end up being Kog'Maw item, or it could just end up being third tank item. You Have My Bow is also not a bad option by any means, so I fully expect him to take one of these two. Interested to see how I think we should scout the lobby here and see how much we predict people to be AD in this lobby, because, you know, like if there's a lot of people who are playing around like Kassadin or who have slammed, you know, something like a Last Whisper or even a Gwynsu, but Gwynsu plays into Syndra, then we can be happier about taking this, and then if not, then we can go Bow. But looks like he just really wants the Thorn-Plated to get these completed items here. I think he's gonna scout now. Yeah, he's sitting up in his chair saying, okay, I need to scout now. We see a couple people with multi-striker opener, so probably not too little AD in this comp. These people all looking more towards AP, but whatever. Thorn-Plated Armor there. We pick up, what was our charm there actually? I didn't actually see. He picked it up so quick. He's such a beast. Oh, Crystal Ball. I mean, it doesn't really do much early. We have the Blitzcrank too as well, so we could actually really think about item carrying Blitzcrank here. And yeah, I think the Bramble plus Gargoyle is certainly going to go into him. Level for Vanguard here. And then we crack this open, and probably has to be Redemption. Yeah, I don't really want to go double Bramble with this this augment. I just want my Blitzcrank to be able to live a long time. And so, wow, we start the game with a triple item tank here. Note that we did put the items onto the Blitzcrank instead of the Nunu. I'm really curious to see where these items go late game, because I'm personally more of a Rumble Glazer than I am a Nunu Glazer. I think this Nunu unit, he's okay, and obviously with his hero augment, he can be a beast, but I actually really, really like item carrying Rumble with tank items, but we'll see what where these items end up later. And I mean, we do have a pair of Nunus and only one Rumble at this point, so might end up just having to be on Nunu because we find it a Nunu too. But yeah, this is currently the board that we're playing to play into Kog'Maw. This board usually gets filled out with a Jinx, because she fills out the Hunter and the Sugarcraft, and then you can put a Tristana in for Blaster, and then if you want perfect synergies, you put the Lilia in on top of that, and you get Fairy plus Bastion on this board. And so that tends to be how you fill out this board. Once again, I wanted to do this VOD review for people who, you know, haven't seen this comp too much, but if you know this comp and you know it well, I think this will also be a really good video for talking about playing around BIS, you know, tempo stuff with this comp. Like I've said before, you know, you might say, well, what's there to learn here? He started the game off with a Kog'Maw plus two Nunus, but like playing a game out in a reroll comp like this efficiently is where a lot of LP is gained this patch and in patches like this, right? You might say that the game just played itself from here, but that is far from the truth. So we win this fight, go into Carousel here. Would love to pick up a sword or a glove here. Kog'Maw really likes Shojin, Last Whisper, and then IE tends to be last item, but like Shojin, Last Whisper, like the real priorities to build here. Looks like we can't get either one of those, so I mean, we might get a sword there. Ooh, can't take any of those, so I guess we'll take the Rumble with Cloak here. Could end up being like a Renan's, which is not too bad on Rumble because of the fact that he is a hunter, so he gets a bunch of AD, and boom, wow, there's Rumble 2 and Nunu 2, so we don't have a bad board whatsoever. We're certainly very likely to streak with this board, and then we just have to turn this into a good stage 3 and stage 4, so I'm loving the spot here. put the way in here for Blaster. I think we'd probably prefer to have Hunter on this board. But I mean, honestly, the Blaster's pretty good. A little bit of extra damage for this Rumble here, who is not really a damage threat, but you know, he's not too bad. But yeah, I mean, generally, I like the spot that we're in a lot, I would say. I mean, how could you not? We naturaled almost everything here. We're still holding on to this Lilia. There's the Tristana that's going to fit in for Blaster. She fits better on this board because of the possibility that you can level up for Lilia. It'll also be interesting to see what Prestivent's level 6 is, because I think this level 6 in this comp is quite flexible, right? You can play the Lilia if you want to play around the Tristana. You can get the Jinx in as well. I usually end up dropping out of Lilia, but then you can also end up dropping out of the Tristana if you feel like she's not doing much. So there's quite a few different sort of like variations that you can play of this board on 6, depending on if you need more frontline or more backline. Like here, maybe we don't end up playing the Lilia because we have so much frontline already, but you know, also Lilia fills out the frontline synergies really nicely. So there's another Trist. Still no Kog'Maws so far. There's also a Jinx in shop, which I have to imagine that we're going to hold. We haven't picked it up yet because Prestivent's reading chat, it looks like, but I have to imagine that we're going to hold on to this Jinx here because she is probably a better next in than this Lilia, but we'll see. Well, okay, so actually, like, first big decision point, right? Do you hold this Jinx? Because it costs money to hold this Jinx here, and it looks like Prestivent's can opt not to hold the Jinx and say the Hunter Sugarcraft, it's not good enough here to cost me the 1 gold when I'm on a streak when I could just level for Lilia. I mean, I think it's pretty reasonable. So yeah, he is not gonna pick that up. He is going to buy out the shop for here. Now, second decision point, what do you slam onto this Kog'Maw in this situation? Do you want to keep one of these bows open for something like a Last Whisper? Red buff is really solid on Kog'Maw, but obviously you're losing out on that Last Whisper potentiality. There's also Renans as a slam. Like, I think if you're playing for BIS, you would go something like Renans here. I expect to see a red buff made, but once again, it's interesting to see, yeah, what we end up making here. Because yeah, like, you could end up going Renans and that keeps Last Whisper alive, but red buff is so good. Like, red buff is certainly like the highest tier item on Kog'Maw that you can build here. So I like red buff here in this situation. It's a lot of attack speed for Kog'Maw. You don't have to worry about building an attack speed item on him after this, but we do have to get some kind of armor shred at some point this game. And with triple item tank, this cloak could be even shroud. It's just like, who does that end up going on is the question. So we win our next fight here. Next question is, do we want to roll at 3-2? And if so, how much? Because we've hit so much of our frontline already. Augments here, I don't really like any of these. High Voltage and Lethal Beast and Vertical Inclined I don't think do anything. Vertical Inclined I just think is kind of a weak augment in general. Maybe you'd make the argument that this comp doesn't play, but it plays a lot of synergies later. Right now we only have 3 in, but yeah, I mean, you'd never take that. Keepers, I guess, can be our fallback option. And then we have Explosive Growth of Raining Gold Plus. I guess I would take this. I don't know if I love Keepers in this spot. Interested to see if we want combat here. Yeah, I think Raining Gold makes sense. And this also gives us an incentive to roll a bit here. Never taking that random uncraftable. And okay, whoa. Wow, this is shocking to me. I'm really surprised that we rolled after hitting Kog'Maw too. I think after hitting Kog'Maw 2, I would have always stopped here. Like, I'm really surprised that Prestivent doesn't think this board is stable. I wonder why he wants to roll deeper here. This is interesting that he would roll this deep. I guess his idea is that we're rich enough and maybe he wants a charm for his fight. I mean, he ends up getting rewarded quite well. Trist 2 plus the Lilia, and we can't make 40, but we still get to make 30 gold. But wow. I mean, he really wants to keep his streak here, but that's a very aggressive roll. Once again, you know, talking about decision making in games like these, I certainly would not have rolled past this Kog'Maw. Well, obviously not past, you picked it up. But after this Kog'Maw, I wouldn't have rolled anymore. But it looks like Prestivent really wants to secure his streak. And I mean, hey, we're fighting a very strong Nila board. I mean, I think maybe you could make the argument that he was correct. He had the Tristana pair and the Lilia pair, and he ends up winning this fight. Doesn't really look like he would have lost this fight, but, you know, maybe there's someone in this lobby who's strong enough that they will beat him. This is a reroll meta where a lot of people are sending it at 3-2, so you could certainly see a world where it's correct to roll in this situation because so many people are spiking. Yeah, like, look at that board with the Nico 2 plus the Syndra there. That looked really scary. So, I mean, certainly versus that board, it would be nice to have the Tristana 2. And yeah, he prefers to play Tristana 2 at this point. Makes sense. She is a 2-star unit over the Jinx. We don't get Hunter in for Kog'Maw, and we're not stacking up Sugarcraft or anything, but his idea is that we're just going to play this board, and then on 7 that we're going to add the Jinx, because yeah, we have a Trist 2, so let's play around it. All right, Cloak here and the Sword open as well. Shojin, I believe, would be the preferred take from Carousel if we could get it. IE would be another take possible. Okay, he's going to take, looks like another Sword here. I mean, I think this is quite reasonable. it's a 3-cost Deathblade potentially, as opposed to a 1-cost IE, and Deathblade looks really, really nice here. I think Prestivent was saying that he checked the stats and that that Deathblade is actually better than IE, which I haven't actually checked, but I can pull him up right now and see what the statistics say. Also, okay, he is gonna move items over to Rumble. I love this. So I'm surprised he almost didn't do this last round, but yeah, we're gonna move items over to Rumble, and he prefers the Rumble main tank in this comp. I think this makes a lot of sense, and I just want to pull up. I know it's gonna lag for a second because I'm pulling up tactics.tools, and this website is, I mean, it's Google Chrome's fault. I don't know, the stats that I'm looking at. No, yeah, they do say Deathblade is better than IE. Okay, I mean, it makes sense, right? A lot of his damage is just going to be in boom, 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 autoing people, so I think it makes sense. Lesser Champ Dupe, fantastic here. Probably don't roll at all this round, and then we're just going to roll it down at 4-1, find our board. But yeah, I mean, I love the Deathblade Slam and the Deathblade Takeoff Carousel. I think a lot of people are addicted to IE and say, oh man, an IE, I mean, that gives me crit. Because crit is damage, and damage is damage, but a crit could be anything, even damage. But Deathblade here, I think it makes a lot of sense, and the stats agree with the take, so I think it works. Ooh, here's this person that had a quite strong board. Looks like we are going to stomp them, though. I mean, hey, maybe you could call this a Lilia 2 Tristu diff. Probably not. I mean, we probably would have had him at some point, regardless. But yeah, I mean, the spot is looking fantastic. The question now becomes, when do we send it to 0? And the answer might be after this. We are 8 Nunus and quite a few Tristanas here. I would not be surprised to see us roll down quite deep here to pick up stuff. And we also have a lot of gold here. And yeah, just take the Hugify here. Okay, we hit in one roll, we hit all of this stuff. Question the second is, do you continue to roll here? I think the answer is absolutely yes, right? We have this stuff paired. We still need Kog'Maw 3 as well to actually play this board. Now, do you dip below 50? I think the answer is no here. And yeah, we're not going to go for the dip here. All right, items-wise here, you want to leave something open for Kog'Maw, but I don't think there's that great stuff. I do think Crown Guard looks really, really nice onto Nunu here. And we don't really care about the rod for like a Gwinsu or anything. Gwinsu tends to not be that amazing on Kog'Maw. Looks like we're fighting a relatively weak board, so we don't have to slam here. Cinder too, and Karma is scary, but this guy's front line is basically nothing, so we should be fine. I think so. Maybe not. Yeah, okay. We are going to lose this fight. Feels bad, but I mean, Cinder and Karma is a hell of a drug. Pandora's items, the third here. We could dig for that last Kog'Maw item. And I mean, our other 2 options are pretty bad, so we're kind of forced into taking this. Blossoming Lotus, a pretty good option as well, though. So the question is, does he want the item from Pandora's, or does he want the Blossoming Lotus? I would probably be tempted to take Blossoming Lotus here. We can check the statistics in this comp. And I'm just doing this here. I can show you where to get to this. Blossoming Lotus is a 4.32. And Pandora's is 4.56. The stats like Blossoming Lotus better. I'm just going to tactics.tools, clicking into the comp here, and then going augments, and you can look at the augments for all of the stats for all the augments in the comp here. So it's a nice way to sanity check yourself. Don't pick just based upon stats, but you know, because maybe, yeah, Pandora's has worse stats, but maybe it's better in this spot because you want a Kog'Maw item. I'm a little afraid here because but I mean, I guess you can also dig for Nunu item as well. So I think it's kind of reasonable. I kind of like the Lotus here, but I mean, it looks like we certainly didn't want to take it here. Roll down to 40 gold. Still no Kog'Maw 3 yet. Still only 6 Kog'Maws. We get Radiant Gunblade here. You can also dig into the stats for Kog'Maw items here. I can't imagine that Radiant Gunblade is that good. We already have so much frontline. I don't think I'm a little bit afraid that this Kog'Maw is going to be low damage if we go this. The other upside to taking this Pandora is obviously we can reroll all these components. So it looks like we want to reroll these. Look for maybe items for Tristana, maybe like a Thief's Gloves for Nunu, just because it's going to be too item economy wise expensive to put all these items on him, but it will be really, really solid to get like the TG onto him. Oh my god, I'm pretty sure that's the best possible one. We can explore this real quick and just go to Kog'Maw 3, but I'm pretty sure that is the best possible Radiant item you can have. You can go here, go into Radiant, Spear Piranha. Oh my god, look at that negative delta. I mean, this is the best Radiant item in the game, and it's fantastic onto Kog'Maw, so I think you can be pretty happy about that and just slam that onto Kog'Maw, and yeah, I mean, it's as easy as that. So just another piece of information for you. If you think Radiant Shojin, if you see Radiant Shojin, Kog'Maw, very good. I mean, also Cinder, very good. This is just the best Radiant item, so a slam here. Yeah, he fills up the exact. He did a little bit more of a filter where he pulled up Blitz, Trist, and Jinx as well for this version of the comp, but similar idea. And I like holding the bow as well. This means that we can guarantee get to Last Whisper. We actually lose to a Cinder 3 here, which feels bad, but we still haven't hit most of our board, so you don't have to feel too bad. And we're still 68 HP. If we want to get Glove off Carousel here to guarantee the LW, we are going to get it eventually with the Pandoras here, so not the end of the world if we don't get it. If we can't get that, then we'll just take highest cost here. Don't think we're picking up a spat here in this situation. Yeah, so we're just going to take this bow here. It was, yeah, we do need the glove, and we do actually get the glove. Okay, I think rolling down quite hard here makes a lot of sense here. Now we're one off now we're one off Kog'Maw, so I think makes a lot of sense to dip. And yeah, we do hit everything in that roll down. Fantastic. And he's going to make the GS as well. Okay, so last Whisper Great Slam, and then we were left with GS components, so he just wants to go for that tempo slam to get the GS down. I think this makes perfect sense. We do need to find that Jinx again because we sold her for econ and for bench space earlier, but we do kind of need to find the Jinx to get her in. But oof, we just barely lose to Witchcraft Karma, because Witchcraft Karma is very, very good. And that's like, oh my god. And that guy had a Morgana on their board, actually. That's so gross. We do pick up the Jinx here, which is nice. And we're actually going to level pretty aggressively to get the Jinx in. I would have... this is actually something smart, though, because I think the more that I think about this meta, I feel like HP preservation is so important compared to something like econ preservation. It just doesn't matter that much because late game, I mean, obviously you need econ to buy charms, but so many fights can be swung just by a good or a bad charm that like you need to have a few extra lives just in case you fight someone with like an Elder Dragon or something like that. So this makes a lot of sense. Now that we're in the late game as well, we haven't fought the Kassadin player too much, but one thing I also want to bring up about this comp is that I think it actually has a really good matchup into that Kassadin comp. Almost every time I see this comp fight Kassadin, it wins because you have the Tristana to shoot the Kassadin away if he gets too close. The Kog'Maw is also a lot of upfront burst damage. Build a cloak here for Adaptive Helm. Interesting. Just for the Nunu item. I mean, I think it's certainly good enough here, and he knew some cloak item would be good enough. So I think that makes sense. Polymorph for 4 cost into a 5 cost. Okay, I mean, not terrible. And maybe we can look at leveling for this down the line. There are two sort of routes you can go when you are level 7 in this comp. There is either just pushing level here and getting some better units in. You can get Arcana in this board by potentially cutting the Lilia and getting in an Arcana unit like Hecarim over Lilia and then an Arcana unit. You can also just get better Bastions in like this Diana, or the Diana, and then potentially like Emilio in instead of the Lilia. So like Diana Emilio can be a cap as well, which looks like what we're going for here. You can also push another level and get 4 Bastion in, but that is a lot of tankiness, especially doesn't really make that much sense because we're playing around the Rumble as our main tank here. So yeah, I think the spot looks good, but interesting to see how we manage our econ throughout the rest of the game. But yeah, I mean, we fight this board that has a kind of scary Fiora on the board, but I mean, we just burst through the entire board. Once you get this comp online, once you get especially this level 7 board that has all these synergies in it, I feel like it is so hard to beat. And I really want us to fight this Kassadin board. I want the Kassadin player to live long enough so that we can actually fight them and see how the matchup goes, because yeah, I mean, it's not in my opinion, it's a very favored matchup for the Kog'Maw comp. So this is a nice comp if you are, annoyed at fighting all these Kassadin boards. Versus the Cinder board, it's like, I think it can be good. We actually have pretty bad positioning versus the Cinder board here, but maybe Kog'Maw does enough damage. Really close, actually, but yeah, we end up losing. I don't really like her front line being so clumped versus the Cinder board because it means she's getting a lot of value out of that AoE. All right, off Carousel here. I don't know, Protector's Vow for Nunu seems solid. You could take Fairy +1 and play 4 Fairy, but it really isn't that impactful. All right, we're just gonna take a Jinx item here then. I mean, the only takeable item we're not... Well, he's gonna go for the Fairy. Okay, for the 4 Fairy. Yeah, once again, I don't think 4 Fairy is that impactful here, but it can be. I mean, I guess his idea is that he's just going to use this to play 2 Fairy, and he's just not gonna play a Fairy unit, and then he's gonna get a better unit in over the Lilia here. Not sure yet what, yeah, but it can be something like this. Okay, yeah, I mean, I like this. You still get to play Arcana. Also, Arcana Tahm Kench is really nice in this comp because of the fact that you have so much value in the number of traits you have in. Look, we have 8 traits in right now, so a lot of HP for Tahm Kench. So I think this makes a lot of sense. And okay, so yeah, he takes the Fairy Emblem to get Fairy in here. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. And then, yeah, he doesn't have to actually play around Fairy at all. That's a nice little tech there. The bunch of belts charm you can tailor by taking your other units out, though. I mean, I don't know why he took out his units with 3 items, because, I mean, those items can't get belts. But he really just wanted to tailor it towards those other units. I think it should usually go on frontline, though. I'm not 100% sure. All right, we're fighting this Witchcraft Karma board again. It looks like at this point we might actually be strong enough to beat it. And yeah, level 9. They can't find Karma 2 because that's the world we live in. Nobody's playing around Karma 2. And also, I haven't looked to the right side too frequently, but I mean, look at that. We are top 3 cruising here on a 6 streak, and very, very easily top 4, potentially just winning out the lobby. I mean, this comp does certainly have win out potential. You know, it's I don't think people think of it on the same level as like Syndra and Kassadin, but I really think it does have similar win out potential to those compositions. Like if you can get there, if you can get to this board, you can very, very easily win out lobbies. Interesting that he also took that charm there. I would have been really, really tempted to just take combat charm here, but I think his idea here is we're just playing for level 9, which makes some amount of sense, I guess. I don't know. I mean, on level 9, you can put in another Arcana for more HP. This is a scary board with this Camille too. I am terrified of this, but maybe we can just burst through it. This Camille unit at 2-star, usually unkillable. Okay, we do get through the Camille, but now we have to get through the Morgana. Yeah, scary, scary boards to fight here. We can potentially level soon, but yeah, we do need to pick up charms here. And yeah, we're really, really broke. So maybe the idea is we're going to sack 2 and then level. You can also obviously get Xerath in down the line, go off of Tahm Kench if you need more damage instead of more tankiness, which definitely seemed like the case versus that Camille board. We're going to fight the Cinder board again. Once again, we're all fully clumped. I mean, it's hard to not clump, especially with these dummies when you have this many frontliners. And Nunu actually does a huge play here, walks up on the left side here and isolates the Cinder cast. That's actually really, really nice. And it is going to mean that we are in the top 2 here. Sack 1 more, I imagine, and then level. Just take any charm here. Sunfire Sorcery looks good. He's looking at just the Bard for whatever reason. I'm not sure what that is. I also like this positioning a lot. I'm curious to see how he does this. Yeah, he does this every round, and I think this is something that I have not been doing in my games too much. I was playing this comp with Exiles earlier, and like obviously you want Kog'Maw next to the Tristana to provide her attack speed, but you also want the Kog'Maw next to the Tristana so that the Trist can protect the Cog by ulting units back. So nice positioning from Prestivent, just clumping up to get max value of his units. Last Nunu item here, another Adaptive Helm, looks pretty reasonable. There's also Steadfast here. Maybe he's thinking of adapting that Thomas Kench there, the way he hovers it. But yeah, we roll down here. Can't take Animate Shop. Ooh, you do take Animate Shop here? Wow. Once again, just not a combat augment taken, but he wants to just have the max odds of finding all these upgrades, and boom, there's Tahm Kench too. There's the Xerath. He is going to charm up or use the selector on the Xerath to get that extra damage. Yeah, he's getting 25% here, which is huge here, and maybe it's enough. Looks like we did burst. That Camille actually was really, really unfortunate that she got burst down by, I mean, fortunate for us, but she got burst down by 1 Kog'Maw ult. Kog'Maw continuing to cast here. Do we have it? The Karma is so tanky. Oh my god, we just barely win it down to 14 HP, and at this point, we just need good combat charms. Animate bench is complete. Rest of it looks so upset about that animated bench. And also these charms are going to do nothing for us. So 24 HP, we're not going to die here, but very, very likely we're going to another stage because it's going to be hard for us to win this fight with 0 combat charms here. But we'll see. Maybe a fight RNG like the last fight ends up happening. We do burst through frontline really, really quickly here. I mean, this fight with no charm honestly looks better than the last one, which is crazy. But I mean, fight RNG, we end up bursting through the front line and we end up winning the whole game. So a really, really fun game from Prestivent on this Kog'Maw comp. Wanted to do a VOD review of it because I know there are some people who are requesting it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Twitch channel, the links down below. Thanks for watching.